If you feel angry, if you feel lost, if you feel depressed or sad, sometimes it just feels like the world is against you, bro. You are not crazy. It's the world we live in. The world right now is filled with so much lies, and these lies are built in a way that you, they are built in a way to keep you stuck for life. And bro, the faster you can get rid of these lies, the more you can begin to think for yourself, the more you can begin to act for yourself. So stay with me because this video is not a video that's supposed to like rage you. It's a video that's supposed to expose your eyes to some lies and hopefully you find a way around these lies. Now, this video might piss you off. Some ideas might piss you off, but bear with me. Now, the major reason I'm breaking out this video is I saw a tweet where someone spoke about how the day you decide to eat clean as a human being, people say you are dieting. Do you know how crazy it is? How eating clean has been tagged dieting. So bro, if you think about it, we live in a world of misinformation. Misinformation where companies are profiting billions of dollars for the sake of just addicting you, for the sake of you doing dumb shit. And bro, there's no reason why, it's not obvious why Gen Z has more mental issues, they're more depressed, they're more lonely, despite the fact that we now live in an era where science has brought us this far. So the first lie, because I have a couple of lies on my phone here. The first lie I talk about is, one, is the issue of men and women are equal. You see this particular lie? This particular lie laid a foundation for gender war, right? So hear me out. They say, oh, see, if men and women are equal, we forget that we have our own uniqueness. A typical example is, as guys, right? We like to see things from a logical perspective. Women like to see things from an emotional perspective, which is not wrong, right? But they excel in different contexts in different times. But no, men are trying to make women more logical. Men are trying to think, women think like men. Women, on the other hand, are trying to get men to be more emotional. So guess what? It's like, it's a battle of who wins who. It's a battle of who has the power dynamics. But I'm here to tell you that this struggle has led to more loneliness within the gender war on social media. But bro, what I'll tell you is this. Men and women are far from different, right? Now, in some cases, the men excel more than the women. In some cases, the women excel more than the men. What that means is we were supposed to be complementary. We are supposed to be complementary, not this idea of gender war where people only laugh when one gender feels bad. Now, the irony I'll tell you is this, is that anything that affects one gender automatically affects the other gender if you apply your common sense. Hear me out. We talk about the male loneliness. Literally speaking, yesterday, a couple of days ago, I was talking to somebody, right? And he mentioned female loneliness. I had noticed that the women in his office, which are kind of more than the men, they're kind of like lonely, right? Most of them are like in their 30s, 40s, no boyfriends, and they cause a lot of tantrums in the office. Now, it made me realize that, bro, no wonder I've noticed a lot of things that which I'll not discuss here for the sake of me avoiding gender war. But bro, I'll tell you this, female loneliness is an actual thing. Do not let anybody lie to you. Women are more lonely than ever before. That's what I tell you as a guy. It's easier to approach women these days. You see, as a guy, the reward for you having confidence, having competence as a man has skyrocketed. Because bro, more women want to be approached. But you know that women are barely being approached these days. So I'll tell you this, bro. Cut off all those gender BS, right? Level up as a man. Go out there, talk to real life women, talk to a lot of women because, bro, it's easier to talk to women these days since guys are no longer talking to women. The second lie I'll talk about here is college is equal to success. Now, this one I'll say is a lie right now, but maybe 30 to 40 years ago, it was like a truth where you go to school, right? You go to school, they train you for a job, you get to that job, and then the job pays you well. But, bro, the rate at which universities are releasing students is far more than what the market can accept. One, two, the market has kind of shifted from factory work where they were doing routine tasks to more of creativity, more of thinking-based work. So what that means is people are no longer hiring for degrees or for titles. People are now hiring for skills. What can you do? What value can you bring? Now, that is one step. The next step now is people are now hiring based on, so people are now even out earning their skills right now, where I'll tell you that if you're to start a business, if your business cannot be leveraged, I'll tell you, you have a problem. What I mean leverage is, if you know that your work is tied to the amount of time you spend on the work, then I'll tell you, you kind of like have a problem because that's no longer sustainable. We live in a world where the dynamics of making money has completely changed. The hourly rate jobs that used to be there 40, 50 years ago, they no longer work. In short, they will keep you in a trap of you working, you taking 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet. I'll tell you for this, since you're watching this video to this point, right? You need to go for what is called leveraged business. Business is where your inputs, you put in like 4 to 5 hours per week or 10 hours per week. And bro, you definitely explode your income because you are leveraging your business. A typical example is content creation, copywriting skills, because you write a copy and the copy sells very well, you write it for somebody and you are an affiliate person, and before you know it, you're making way more money than the hours you put into it. So somebody now who is working on a business that is leveraged can get up to $10,000 per month compared to somebody who is working on leveraged business, who is working 60, 70 hours a week, but still earning about maybe 4K, 5K per month. So I'll tell you this, above. You need to realize that college, rather, will give you title, will give you a reason to brag. What you need will give you social status, right, to an extent. What you need is something that is valuable, other people want, right, other people need rather. At the same time, something that I would say is leveraged, because there's really no reason starting a business today if it's not leveraged. Well, you don't even need massive capital. Speaking of capital, there's a new concept called social currency, right, which I'm beginning to observe everywhere. Now, it's not for this video. We'll talk about this in another video, right? Hopefully, remind me if you want to know about social currency or social capital. The third thing here is your 20s are for fun. You see, this is where most guys fail, because you see, one thing about this truth is that these lies is that they are comforting lies. They are lies that make you feel like, oh, my 20s are for fun. That makes sense. So let me have as much fun as possible. But bro, that is a very big fat lie. The reason it's a very fat lie is they know fully well that if they can get you to believe that your 20s are for fun, what happens? You spend money on what? Parties. Those parties buy alcohol. You spend money on things. You waste your money on things. Now think about it. Our generation is a generation that's having a problem called luxury poverty, where young men can afford to buy things they don't need, but things they need in their future, they cannot afford to pay for it. Now, most men in their entire life right now would never own a home. Ask yourself, is there any place where you are spending money continuously that you know you don't need this thing, but for some weird reasons, you do it because why? You're in your 20s, you only live once. Bro, your 20s are for you to work as hard as possible. Your 20s is for you to experiment. Bro, think about it, right? I'll say this thing everywhere I go. I used to be somebody who thought tech would have been my ticket towards my financial freedom. But bro, tech was kind of burning me out, right? I came to realize that, bro, AI is here. AI is there to take over a shit ton of tech work. So if I think tech is going to be here in the next 5 to 10 years, that is a very, very big fat lie. Tech is taking over a shit ton of stuff, right? So I can bet that in the next 10 years, the need for developers may have drastically reduced. Now, what that means is that developers might be involved in some higher level of thinking. But I just feel like, personally, before AI, I was already feeling burnt out about tech. So, bro, your 20s should be for you to figure out, to experiment, right? To build competency, to fix your insecurities, because we all have insecurities. We're all born with insecurities. There's nothing attractive you being a 30-year-old going into a relationship and you are claiming something like childhood trauma. Bro, that shit is a very, very big turn off. Right, so your 20s, put your head down, build as much as possible, work hard as much as possible. The next lie is about aesthetics over worth, where we have this idea that it's better for us to look the part than to be the part. How this works is, instead of me becoming competent and confident, why don't I look like I'm competent or confident, right? And this is why I'm always against the looks maxing industry. Bro, these guys keep talking about how you should look smart, look appearance is the most important thing. But bro, most of the message we hear today on social media are always shallow. Think about it. Looks are very important because how you're perceived is how people treat you. But here's the harsh truth. The moment people go beyond your perception, if you do not match the perception, they work out as fast as they came in. That's why you see way too many guys who are looks maxing, right? They have done all of the looks maxing, they look attractive, but they don't have girls in their life. Or the girls come and the girls go because they've come to realize that this guy is just a very beautiful shell. I was talking to somebody just yesterday, right, about how a lot of gym bros who have these muscles, who look attractive, they don't really have that strength. I mean, they can bench lift, they can bench press a good amount of weight, but they cannot really deploy that strength at a distance, right? I remember watching this video of a bodybuilder versus a bricklayer. And then in this video, the bricklayer was to carry 3 bags of cement, while the guy with the muscles carried 3 bags of cement also. The guy with the muscles, he struggled to lift the cement, right? But he got there. But the bricklayer guy did it very fast. And the bricklayer guy did not really look like he had that much muscles. What that means is that people rather look like they have strength than actually have strength. And it's kind of like fucked up, right? Because I think all these problems come from all this research on things like, oh, what does the other gender find attractive? And again, this is even making now, I don't talk about the women because, again, I'm somebody who wants to tread carefully. The women themselves too, they try to play only on looks. They forget they forget things like what keeps a man, because that's really not their business. They are much more bothered about how they look than what is going on. Like I said, I really don't talk about the women. I'm mostly about the men. I'll tell you for a fact that if you're following any content creator who never tells you the deep stuff about masculinity, bro, move. That person is just there for you to serve his agenda. He will never guarantee jack shit to you. So, and this is, I'll leave with a quote from Joe Rogan that says, as a guy, you should aim to become that person you pretend to be when you want to have sex. Because if you really dig it right, all this game on women, right? Game on women is you compensating. Because if a woman already likes you, first of all, game is important. Don't use it as an excuse not to like have some emotional game, right? Have some game on women. But if a woman already likes you, do you really see a need to play games on her? Do you really see a need to play games on or with her? You don't really need it. So game is a short-term way of overcompensating. So instead of you always overcompensating, why don't you become that guy that girls are kind of attracted to? Work on your physique, work on your courage, have proper values, have discipline. For fucking crying out loud. There's nothing that you hear that is deeper than this. So bro, I'll tell you this, don't be shallow. Try to aim to be what you want to look like. Aim to be that guy you pretend to be when you're trying to have sex, right? And trust me, we actually still have sex. Next thing I'll talk about here is, we have this idea that material things will make you happy. Materialism or materialistic things make you happy. It's like, oh, buy the latest phone, buy the latest Jordans, buy the latest. But if you really dig it right, you don't really need all these things. Like for real, you really don't need these things. And it's the way they've been marketed and sold to us that, oh, this is like what you need to go to the next level. What this will end up doing is, it just end up putting you in debt, right? You trying to feel among. Now, I'm not here to say, because we're very, very frank, right? Yes, it's nice to buy things, right? But buying things because you think they make you happy is fucked up. Buying the latest things for you to want to always claim social status will keep you in this cycle of, or this treadmill of, this endless loop of, oh, I have to impress, I have to be on top. It's like, but bro, it's like, can't you like have some dignity for yourself? Can't you like build self-esteem to the point where you don't need, the keyword there is need. Because each time you say you need to buy the latest iPhone, one thing you need to realize is, why are you buying the latest iPhone? To show off. Now, to be very frank, right? Again, I will say that everything has nuances. Now, I have been with some business guys, I have business mentors, and one thing I've come to realize is, when these guys buy these latest gadgets, man, these guys are multi-millionaires in dollars. When you buy the latest gadgets, right? One, they aren't trying to live a fake life. They are not trying to live a fake life. Two, why they buy it is simply because it's a symbol. Whenever they go into a meeting, right, and they have the latest gadgets, it's not really to impress, although it's part of their symbol, part of their lifestyle. They are signifying that, bro, I'm still the latest trends, right? So it may sound confusing to me. At first, I was like, why are you guys always on the latest gadgets? Turns out that, bro, to them, it's part of it, right? They just like upgrade and it costs them nothing. So what that means is, bro, always being materialistic when you don't have the money is complete garbage. It's complete BS. It's marketing stunts pulled on you. You don't need the latest iPhone. You can use an iPhone for 4 years and you'll be good. If you have an iPhone 12 and iPhone 13, those phones function today. Those phones deliver close to what your iPhone 15 or 16 is already delivering. You don't have to buy the latest iPhone. You don't always have to show or impress people, right, for you to feel among. The next lie, which I think I hate a lot, is I'll say mental illness identity, where you identify with a mental illness and say, oh, this is who I am. Oh, I'm anxious, I'm depressed. It's like, okay. The painful part is the way the media has now portrayed it to make you look helpless. It's like, oh, you have mental illness. Oh, go and visit XYZ. Bro, what they are saying when they look at you is just straight up profit. It's straight up profit. And I'll say this, that isn't it crazy that we have a world that we now live in a world that has 20 times more therapists, or maybe 100 times more therapists in the last 100 years. We have 20 times more psychotherapists. We have 20 times more people working on the mental health. But still, mental health itself is even facing a deeper crisis. Isn't that crazy? What that means is that we are not attacking the right problems. One. Two, is that apart from not attacking the right problem, is like I said, these guys are heavily rewarded to keep you trapped in that mental problem, in that mental illness. So I'll tell you this, that, bro, your mental illness, right, can always be solved. Maybe if you have some medical issues or mental clinical issues, I don't know about that. But things that have to do with your mental state, they can always be fixed. They can always be fixed. I'll tell you, as a man, right, when I see a guy talk about depression, most of the guys that I see talk about depression are mostly guys that they have nothing going on for them. If you ask them, okay, when I'm talking to guys, right, the first thing I try to establish is, what area of your life are you winning in? That is the first thing I try to establish. What area of your life are you already winning in? The moment I see that there is no area of life, I'm like, bruv, that is the cause of your depression. That's why there's a time when some guys claim they were depressed. Andrew Tate says, go and get a six-pack, right? And tell me whether you're depressed or not. And magically, people who got the six-packs claim to be not depressed anymore. And I was thinking, six-packs itself is not the cure for the depression. But what really happened is, now this person now has a goal that his mind is working towards, right? So one, his mind is, okay, we need to get a six-pack, right? His mind is channeled towards a goal. Okay, his mind is happy. And again, you become happy as a man when you have goals you are progressing towards, when you have goals that you are leveling towards. So now, the guy is working on his abs, he's leveling up, right? Working on his backs, leveling up. Now, Andrew Tate says, now, mind you, every time he works out, his brain releases feel-good chemicals because he's working towards a goal and he just worked out. So working out gives you some chemicals that make you feel good about yourself. So now, he's working out, he's in a good state after workout, and he's working out towards a goal. That is what you need to not be depressed. That's what I tell you, bro. You really cannot be a man without a purpose. That is the shortcut towards depression, not having a purpose. That is a shortcut towards misery. So, brother, never use your mental illness as a problem. Now, a few years ago, right, I kind of noticed that this is me here now. I kind of realized that I was, say, diagnosed with ADHD. And now, at first I was like, okay, ADHD is a problem, right? How can I solve it? Mind the mentality, right? How can I solve this ADHD as a problem? The guy was like, oh, we have some drugs to register to you. But because of the mindset I have that the medical industry is not designed to cure your problems. It is designed to mask the symptoms until 10, 20 years from now when shit hits you harder. So I said, okay, no, let me investigate it. And it turns out that ADHD is not a problem. It is a feature, right? It's a feature where it allows you to focus a lot on things that you truly enjoy and then remove the focus from things that you don't enjoy. Ever since, I'm like, fuck the medical industry, right? Because it's like, how the fuck do you paint something that is this good and make it bad? Again, lies. And last thing I'll leave with you here is, the last lie that's holding men back is that masculinity is toxic. Bro, this is the deepest and the dumbest lie of the century. Think about it. What does the world need right now? Right? When it comes to protecting people, masculinity is never labeled toxic. When it comes to inventing new things, masculinity is never labeled toxic. When it comes to protecting people, when it comes to doing things that are risky, when it comes to competition to a point where consumers are experiencing cheaper goods, it's never referred to as toxic masculinity. But the moment we say, okay, men want to become ambitious, you see, as a man, the moment you begin to remove that lie of masculinity is toxic, trust me, you walk different. You talk, it's the kind of confidence you have. Because I'll tell you for a fact, tell me any single part of masculinity that's labeled toxic, I can bet you those same traits are the traits that men use to achieve a lot in their life. What? Is it emotional control? Without emotional control, you're fucked as a man. Everybody manipulates you. Is it what? Being, they say things like, don't be hard on yourself. Bro, the people who level up are the people who are the hardest on themselves. That is what you need to build mental strength, mental toughness. You can't build mental toughness if you're not hard on yourself. It's not just possible. What else will I say? Competition. What else will I say that they say is toxic? Just bottom line is every single thing that they label as toxic. So, brother, my name is Tonore. I create content just to expose these things to you and to help you level up as a man. By the way, if you like what you're hearing, I want you to share this video with somebody who you know will find it helpful because, bro, I just enjoy showing up every day for you guys. Talk to you soon, and then bye for now, brother.